Next thing I want to talk about today is, of course, as always, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And y'all are going to get a kick out of this one. Raymalis. Ara, you filthy degenerates. Bonk. Oh, thank you very much, Raymalis. This piece looks wonderful. I actually really like this art style here. The next one we have is from Scarlet Roselia. So that I drew how Suris would look if he existed in the same world as my OCs. I just realized. I have a question. Is there actually like a bunch of background noise that everybody can hear? I just realized my office is very loud. And I'm hoping there's not a bunch of background noise. Anyways, the next one we have is from You Love Nana. Said drew in ink and colored pencil. That is adorable. That is adorable. I like this outfit. Don't tell Bonbon I like this outfit because Bonbon might get ideas. As always, everybody, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is drop it in the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, if you haven't already, please consider checking out my Patreon, where I, not as frequently as I should, post behind-the-scenes stuff. Which, you know, if you're into that, then that helps out the channel more than you'll ever know. With that said, as always, let's go ahead and get right into the content itself. I'm sure y'all have been seeing this clip floating around Twitter today. But let's go ahead and take a look at it real quick.
No, I'm not.
Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene here.
No, I'm not.
So we've got people basically pointing out, basically media swarming Marjorie Taylor Greene.
No, you're a coward is what you are.
How is he being a coward? He's literally talking with you right now.
You're the one running away. You're the one running away.
No, gun rights protect people. That stops people from...
Oh yeah, what does gun rights do for all the kids who keep getting shots in school? How am I a coward? Representative Green, please. Am I scared of guns?
You're scared of legal gun owners that want to protect their kids in school.
So I have a question. How many legal gun owners protect their kids in school? Just curious. I am sincerely wondering, would Marjorie Taylor Greene like to provide some evidence that legal gun owners actually protect children in school? If a school shootout starts happening, do legal gun owners just go to the school and start Ramboing it up to save the kids? Because by and large, I don't think that fucking happens.
Shame on you.
How? Shame on me?
Yeah, go move to another country where they take away your guns.
Ah, yes. Don't fix things in America, only move to a different country that is not America.
I want to live in a country where kids don't get shot. I want to live in a country where kids don't get shot. I don't think you like that.
Good. You know what?
So you like living in a country where kids keep getting shot in school and dying?
We need access to the sidewalks.
You hate kids, really?
Yeah.
Aren't you the tourist guy?
You were not voting.
Yeah, you're the guy that said that the insurrection was just a group of tourists, right?
No, yes, you want to know how I'm voting?
Yeah, that was you. That was you. I recognize your face. So, just to be clear,
Second Amendment prevent gun violence. The Second Amendment, how does the Second Amendment prevent gun violence?
You're the one that believes that
You need
the
to
insurrection
step out of the
was
way.
a tourist.
Okay.
You're blocking a member of Congress.
Excuse me, ma'am.
You're blocking a member of Congress. You need to-
So, did anybody see what happened there? Because I'll show you again, and we'll see it from a different angle here in a minute. But we have Marjorie.
The one that believes that
You
the
need to
insurrection
step out of the
was
way.
a tourist.
You're blocking a member of Congress.
Excuse me, ma'am.
You're blocking a member of Congress. You need to stay away.
No? Oh, well, maybe if we have a different angle, maybe that will help. Here, instead, let's view this from a different angle.
Oh, buddy.
The Second Amendment, how does the Second Amendment prevent gun
Same
violence?
moment.
That believes that the insurrection
Step out of the
was
way.
a tourist.
You're blocking a member of Congress. Blocking what you're talking about.
And once more.
The Second Amendment, how does the Second Amendment prevent gun
You're the
violence?
one that believes that
Stairs
the
down and
insurrection
boop.
Step out of the
was
way.
a tourist.
So, from one angle, I'm sure that definitely looks like an accident. From another angle, It definitely does not look like an accident. It looks like somebody staring down at somebody else's ankle and trying to kick them out of the way. Marjorie Taylor Greene, representative of my district, willingly, basically, assaulting a reporter. There's a way to deal with someone in the way, and that's not the proper way. Yeah, there's lots of ways. So that I didn't see the side view, I made sure to try to find another angle before I went to talk about this. Let's look at the rest of the video, but I have some comments about the kick specifically. But
Members of Congress.
You can't block members of Congress.
No,
You're talking.
You literally cannot do that.
actually, you literally can. Not saying you legally can, but like literally as a person, you can. Like that's a thing that people can do. Should you do it is a different question. Is it legal for you to? No, but like literally, I'm just being pedantic here. Literally you can. Literally somebody can get in front of you and block you. That's a thing literally you can do. Legally you can't. I think.
We're literally unpaid.
I was involved during the Colorado shooting at the supermarket where 10 people were murdered down the street.
You know what? I support people to protect themselves with their guns, okay?
Why
You
did
know
you
what?
say to the
No, you
children
know
that
what?
keep getting shot?
Murder is illegal. Murder is illegal.
And yet that doesn't stop jack shit. Look at that.
No, you know what?
Shouldn't Americans have the right to go to the grocery store
Americans
without
should have the
having
right
the
to
fear to
protect
be
themselves.
murdered?
Americans should have the right to
Yes, sir.
protect
Yes, sir.
themselves. Gun-free zones is where people die.
So, fun story. This one is actually kind of true. In America, specifically, places that are considered gun-free zones are areas where you are more likely to encounter gun violence. Now, the studies that have led to that conclusion have been brought up in question in different sociological circles. However, that statement on its face is at the very least, as far as I could tell researching prior to this video, largely kind of true. Now, there is a statement to be made about it, because when we're talking about gun-free zones, you have to understand that here in America, most people can just get a gun without too much guff, especially over at a gun show. So a gun-free zone existing doesn't do a whole lot when we can get the guns from basically anywhere. This is where a lot of the conversations about Chicago end up happening, where they're like, look at all the gun violence that happens in Chicago, but it's supposed to be a place where you can't have guns, ignoring the fact that Chicago has a dense city population and therefore is more likely to have more violence in the first place, as most densely populated zones do, and ignoring the fact that you can get guns from basically anywhere in and around Chicago, and bring them into Chicago, even if you can't buy one in the, city itself. And also, yeah, there is the conversation where people will bring guns into gun-free zones just to scoff the law. Liska Day Babbitt, thank you for redeeming your points for an fucking D-Gen. Said, it's a gun-free zone. So we're being very fast and loose with the definition of gun-free zone. I'm just using it as an example where people say, look, guns are banned. Like, that's typically a thing you see where people say guns are banned in Chicago. Look at all the gun violence that happens in Chicago, ignoring like every other factor that happens that makes Chicago what it is. So, while yes, the data seems to actually suggest that what Marjorie is saying is correct, the statement on its face doesn't mean a whole lot when we look at other places as examples. Yeah, nuances for nerds.
Gun-free zones
People
is
died
what
in the
causes
grocery
people to
store.
die.
Down my-
Yeah,
It was a
it's gun-free
gun-free-
zone.
Oh.
Gun-free zone. Look at that.
The Texas grocery
school.
Texas.
Yeah, look it up. I mean, again, you can do that research for yourself. You'll find that what she's saying is technically true, but it doesn't help her in the way she thinks it does.
Grocery store gun free zone. It was not an innocent open carry state.
Like I said, you guys should move to some country where you can have guns.
Okay, so you're telling me to move out of the country. That is your official position as a member of Congress.
Buffet
You're
of government.
Okay, so I just want to be clear.
But right here in America, we're going to defend
Your
our
official
Second Amendment
position
rights.
as a member of Congress is that I should move out of the country.
No, you have a free choice. Go somewhere else. We have the Second Amendment here.
So your
We love it.
Yeah, again, So what he's trying to do is point out that this is a thing that a member of Congress should not be saying. The goal for any member of Congress should be to make America as it is safer, healthier, and better for the people who are in it, not to just kick people out of the country because they don't agree with certain ideals of the country. So, God, I wish I could stick her ass in the middle of the ocean, just leave her there. Jesus.
You know what? We will always protect our Second
I should
Amendment.
move out because I don't want kids getting shot in school.
I'm going to protect our Second Amendment. It's great.
Again, I'm not
You want to know why? Because I'll always defend myself. I'll
was
defend my
included.
children. I'll defend my home.
Yeah, so, again, if you take this to defending your home, then sure, a gun to defend your home is a reasonable thing. I can understand that. But if we take this to defending your kids, you mean at a school where that's happening? Again, that's not a thing that happens, Marjorie. People don't go to the school to defend their kids from people shooting up the school. That largely happens, and then the tragedy is already done. Like, you owning a gun doesn't solve that problem, Marjorie. It doesn't. Dude, you send it to me, Bon Bon. Send it to me. Volsnare, thank you for redeeming your points for an well. Now, I want to go ahead and take a minute to talk about this specifically again. This part here.
You need to step out of the way. Please. You're blocking
The kick.
a member of Congress.
The kick itself. I want to talk about what it means to be a servant to the public that apparently gets to make $140,000 a year, get donations from people that are largely thrown to like really expensive cars and shit like that. Let's ignore all of that shit and just talk about being a member of Congress in general. A member of Congress is supposed to be, like a police officer, a servant to the general public. You are employed by the citizenry of the United States. We literally pay your bills. Like, if everybody in the United States just stopped paying taxes randomly, not that we have a system to let that happen, but if they did, then members of Congress wouldn't get paid. Their paychecks would magically freeze because there wouldn't be money to give them because the money comes from our taxes. I'm not saying abolish taxes or anything stupid like that. We need taxes for infrastructure. My point is that Marjorie is as good as an employee of us, people in Georgia, especially here in Georgia District 12. Not 12. Hunger Games is on the mind. District 14. That one. Duh. Sorry that she's your congressperson. I'm sorry she's my congressperson too. My point is, if you're in Georgia and you are planning on voting and your plan was to vote for Marjorie Taylor Greene specifically, my first question to you would be, why? What the fuck is wrong with you? 2, do you want somebody who, as a congressperson, is willing to kick the little guy who's in their way in order to get to a destination? Is that a person who you want representing you? Because I hate to tell you this, but to someone like Marjorie, you are the little guy. The only reason you have not been kicked is you have not inconvenienced her enough. And as a servant to the public, and as a member of Congress, this is not okay behavior. Thank you for the hydrate, Sir Bombers. But now I gotta throw... There's not a whole lot of substance here. There's not a whole lot of meat on this bone, aside from, I don't know, don't kick people if you're a member of Congress. Feels like it should be pretty basic, but you know. I would hope there would be more people who get off the sidelines and start voting because of shit like this. Remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene got into Congress effectively by default. Don't let it happen again. Your two options right now are between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Marcus Flowers for Georgia District 12. If you've got a choice between the two of them, despite my misgivings, I would much rather have Marcus. Especially since, having talked with him in person with Raz, I know that he, at the very least in conversation with us, advocated for trans rights, advocated for workers' rights to unionize, and those are two things that I care about more than a lot these days. So, by all means, let's vote this bitch out. As always, everyone, let me know what you think in the comment section below and insert end of video tagline here.